All right, hello again. We're back to talk about today's workout. I want to remind you guys, continue doing a great job sticking with this daily movement practice. Continue to focus on your daily health habits. The basic ones just being sleep, hydration, nutrition, and movement, all right? As you become more and more comfortable with those things, or if you're pretty good with most of those things, obviously we can fine tune some of that. Melissa will have some nutrition and lifestyle support that's going out to you guys. If you want to dig really, really deep, you can always work with her one-on-one in addition to that if that's what you want to do. But for this time, we want to continue to hammer and drive home the importance of getting good quality and quantity sleep, good quality food, proper hydration in adequate amounts. So our recommendation is a target of 50% of your body weight in ounces as kind of a minimum standard, right? If it's really hot and you're sweating, you're doing really hard workouts, you're gonna wanna up that a little bit, all right? If you have questions about those things, or if you're trying to work up to them or something, by all means, hit us up, let us know. We're here to support during this time and always. I want to continue to remind you and encourage you to get some equipment, whatever that means. If that means making your own homemade stuff out of plastic jugs, milk jugs, or laundry soap containers that have some sturdy handles that you can fill with water or sand or gravel, put that cap on, tape it up nice and secure, right? You can use that for carries and presses and squatting. You can do a lot of stuff with it, okay? We can get real creative. Another option that's great, it's pretty inexpensive, they're easy for travel, is just getting some of these exercise bands. If you do that, I definitely recommend grabbing something that's a lighter option, something a little more moderate, and then something that's a heavier band so that you can use it for things like deadlifts and squatting if you want to, right? And then obviously these will serve a purpose long beyond whenever all this stuff blows over, right? If you want to go out there and snag some kettlebells and dumbbells, by all means, knock yourself out. Those will definitely give you some more variance in loading up some of these workouts, but everything's written in a way that you don't need that stuff, but it's definitely nice to have it. I would say the need is to have something that you can pull, right? We talked about upper body and lower body pulling is a little bit more difficult to do body weight only from home. Not everyone has a pull-up bar. If you do and you want to add those into a workout like today, by all means, you could say after your 5 V-ups, you do 3 to 5 pull-ups, right? Really simple. I didn't include a lot of that stuff because I don't know what people have, right? And I don't want to include things that people just absolutely may not be able to do. Cool, let's get started. So we have our prep portion is 3 to 4 sets of 1 minute of mountain climbers. The video link in SugarWOD gives a ton of really cool variations. I encourage you to play around with those, be creative, have fun with them. I'm not gonna go through all of them. It's like, that video alone I think is like 5 minutes long or 6 minutes long with a whole bunch of different stuff. But if you're feeling froggy, you wanna mix it up, I encourage you to look at them because some of them were pretty cool. But when we look at our mountain climber, basically we're in a plank position and we're moving, we're driving the knees up toward the elbow. Okay, that's our basic movement. Bringing that knee just to the inside of the elbow, maintaining that nice plank position, kind of like an upside down hollow, right, where I'm tight through my belly, I'm squeezing my butt. After that minute, we have 10 reps of toe touch to squat. So you're gonna start in a standing position, and from here, I'm gonna reach down, grab my toes, and I'm gonna pull myself down into the bottom of my squat. From here, I can choose to either stand out of that squat, or I can anchor myself down, hold, hips back up, and stand, right? So a couple different little variants in there. By all means, go every other one, okay? I again want to encourage you guys to be creative and remember that while there's a time and a place for really structured planning in how you train, there's also tremendous value in empowering yourself to be creative, to understand how your body moves through space, and to find some unique and fun ways to do that. Lastly, we have 30 seconds of a tall side plank rather. So from here, I'm just extending that down arm, so instead of being on my elbow, I'm tight here through my torso on the side that's down. I can extend this arm up if I'd like. I can leave it right here across my chest if I like, or at my side. Any of those are fine, but we want to drive the hips towards the ceiling, create tension through the side of our body. With any of these prep sections, if you have access to a bike or a rower or something like that and you want to mix it in, by all means do so, okay? Our next piece, our sweat portion, is going to be 6 sets at a grind pace, okay? That's at 7 to 8 RPE, so 7 to 8 out of 10 effort, right? That's what we're looking for here. Not maximal, but you're going to be working hard, okay? We have 30 alternating reverse lunges. We have followed by 20 elbow to tall plank, followed by 10 push-ups, and lastly, 5 V-ups, all right? So our alternating reverse lunges, as the name suggests, I'm gonna step back into that reverse lunge position and switch legs each time. I'm looking for about 90 degrees at the knee and the hip, and the torso stacked over the hip in the bottom of each of these lunges, right? So don't slop through these. Make sure that you're working hard, but you're able to maintain quality movement. As far as loading these up, if you have access to, a barbell and you want to front rack or back rack that with a lighter weight, great. So long as you can perform those 30 unbroken, you stay within the parameters of the RPE that we're putting out. If you have dumbbells or kettlebells, you can always put those at your side or in a rack position. If you have just a single kettlebell, you could put it in a goblet position right in front of your chest, or you could set it up so it's unilateral in one arm in this front rack position and just switch every other set. So maybe I start it on my right side, step back into my reverse lunge, and I switch. The next set I come through, I'm on my left side, stepping back, alternating legs, but holding that kettlebell on the same side. Not necessarily a right or wrong answer here, you guys, just offering some ideas for some variants that you can mix in to keep it creative and keep it interesting for you. Our next movement, our elbow to tall plank. You're basically just traveling from an elbow plank to a tall plank, okay? So from this tall plank position, I'm gonna drop down and then back up. Down on the other arm and back up. Okay, I like to alternate every other rep so that I'm making sure that I'm not just going down the same way over and over and over again. So I will start with right arm down, right arm up, and then the next rep, I'll do the opposite. I'll go left, right. Cool? After that, 10 push-ups. As always with our push-ups, elevate your hands on a stair or a bench or a couch, whatever you have available, okay, if you need to, right? If you can't perform good quality push-ups with your hands on the floor, okay? And if you can't do it, guys, let go of that ego of doing them on the floor anyway and being in this slouch position with your head down and your back all curved or your butt way up in the air, okay? Take this time to work on these bodyweight movements that are sometimes really difficult to master, right? So elevate those hands if you need to. If you're good with push-ups, by all means, this is a workout you can throw a weight vest on if you have one. If you have access to the bands, we've talked about it before, wrapping that band around your upper body for the push-up, right? Giving myself a little additional resistance, okay? Putting a plate on my back, right? Those are all variations that you could throw in here. You could do, 1.5 reps, so you go down, half a rep up, back down and up, and that's 1. So there's some different ways to be creative with this if you're pretty proficient with some of these movements. Lastly, our 5 V-ups. This is where I get to embarrass myself for you guys. I'm not very good at these, but that's okay. So I'm gonna start in an extended position, and I'm bringing my hands up to my feet and back down. Okay? I often tend to opt for a lemon squeeze or a tuck up for this because these are really tough for me to move well with. So your tuck up is just here. You're pulling the knees towards your chest. You can extend the hands over your head and bring them to your heels. Okay, so there's a little bit of variance for that. If not, just simply some leg lowers or leg raises, straight leg raises would be great too. for those of you that maybe don't have either of those options. So a straight leg raise just being here. Okay. If you're choosing one of those options and 5 reps is pretty easy and you want to increase it to 8 or 10 or 12, by all means, knock yourself out. But we'll go through that 6 times. And then lastly, we have our breathe section, which I want to remind you guys to not avoid these. Okay, take these 5 minutes, close your eyes, focus on some breath work, deep breathing into the belly, expanding the diaphragm, creating 360 degrees of pressure. Okay, today's pose is a saddle pose. I did not grab myself a med ball, and I can't get all the way back, but I can show you the basic idea. I'm gonna sit back, I can extend my hands, or I can get down onto my elbows here. Okay, my butt is seated between my heels. Okay, if I had a ball or a stack of pillows, I can support my back with that to get in a position where you want to feel a little bit of a stretch, but you don't want this to be super painful or so uncomfortable that you can't breathe and relax. So make sure however you set this up, it's applicable to your ability, your flexibility and the comfort in that position. The video shows, I think, some options as well that I attached on here, but take this time, take those 5 minutes, clear your head a little bit. Okay, use that to not only aid in recovery, but also to just help in de-stressing, especially during these times. Okay, much love to you guys. Take care. Keep up the hard work.